Hey there, deck builders. Welcome back to another episode of Commander Top 5. Glad to have you here. I'm your host, Alex, and today we'll be reviewing the top 5 mono blue commanders. A top 5 commander exhibits 3 key attributes: versatility, powerful abilities, and consistency. I've specifically chosen 5 commanders with diverse abilities and playstyles. There's a little something for everyone on this list, whether you're a casual player balling on a budget or a more competitive player seeking a powerful new commander. So without further ado, let's kick things off. Number 5. Stitcher Geralf. I consider Stitcher Geralf to be the most unique mono blue commander available. Unlike other mono blue commanders who primarily focus on artifacts, combos, or counterspells, Stitcher Geralf has his own unique strategies: mill and graveyard recursion. Speaking of graveyard recursion, let's not forget about Geralf's good buddies, Faith Stitcher and his very own masterpiece. Both have the utility of being recurable from your graveyard and add powerful support abilities. Faith Stitcher is useful for tapping down anything an opponent controls that is annoying you, or for untapping a mana rock to help ramp. Geralf's masterpiece is a flying monstrosity that's very difficult to ever truly get rid of. Undead Alchemist is my favorite support creature for Geralf. Activating Geralf's ability with the Alchemist on the field can quickly generate you a murderous zombie horde. Conveniently, all of the creatures I've spotlighted so far are zombies too. Let's not forget about Forgotten Creation. His ability allows us to toss our good friends Fate Stitcher and Geralf's masterpiece in the graveyard for later use, and draw cards at the same time. If you're looking to spend a little money, Ulamog and Emrakul are worth splurging for. Fair warning though, don't plan on making friends if you add them to Geralf's zombie horde. Annihilator 4 tends to irritate people, just a little bit. Ulamog is particularly useful for his 4th ability. Being able to reshuffle your graveyard back into your library when he enters it from anywhere can be useful if you're on the verge of milling yourself out. Emrakul lives up to her name. She's here to promise an end to anyone who dares oppose you. Plus, you're guaranteed to cast her on the cheap, seeing you'll be putting quite a few cards in your graveyard. If this meatball isn't already spicy enough, I've got a couple extra cards you'll like. Psychic Spiral gives you the Ulamog reshuffle effect and forces an opponent to mill themselves in a potentially dangerous way. Dig Through Time is just one of a variety of blue delve spells that should be included with Geralf. Searching your deck for answers is always a good thing. Number 4. Azami, Lady of Scrolls. You're a wizard, Harry. Seriously though, wizard tribal's a thing, and Azami is the queen of it. She does what blue does best: draw cards and dominate through card advantage. Luckily, she has a few friends who are willing to help out too. Bosk Banneret is great in the early game and helps you power out your wizards in a hurry. Void Mage Prodigy enables you to sacrifice wizards to counter spells. This can make your opponent's lives miserable because even if you don't have a counter spell in hand, they still have to tread carefully. Venser Shaper Savant is both a bounce spell and a card draw outlet when paired with Azami. His flash ability is particularly useful for catching your opponents off guard. Patron Wizard is a bit expensive at $20, but his effect can be devastating. A board full of wizards isn't just card draw, they are all suddenly counterspells every time they tap too. It could be argued that Isochron Scepter and Dramatic Reversal, the combo better known as Dramatic Scepter, should be used in every mono blue deck. The Dramatic Scepter combo paired with a few mana rocks and a board full of wizards equals all the card draw, literally all of it. With all that card draw though, there has to be a way to win, right? Well, hello there, lab man. You're a wizard too? How convenient. It's almost as if you and Azami were meant to be. The peanut butter to her jelly, the Kirin to her Pia. Turnabout is basically Dramatic Reversal's older brother. Untap all the things. Number 3. Baral, Chief of Compliance. Do you like having friends? If you answered no to that question, Baral is the perfect commander for you. In all seriousness, Baral is the epitome of what a blue commander should be. He lowers the cost of your instants and sorceries and draws you cards while doing it. They don't call him the Chief of Compliance for nothing. The obvious route to success with Baral is jamming your deck full of instants and sorceries, particularly counterspells. Rewind is downright ridiculous. 3 mana to counter a spell, untap 4 lands, and draw a card? Where do I sign up? Supreme Will is what would happen if Mana Leak and Anticipate had a baby, and that baby was born a superhero. Shall we see what else we can use to make our opponents rage quit? Oh, looky here, Baral's very own counterspell. Appropriately named too, isn't it? Don't forget to read your opponents the flavor text on the card while you crush their hopes and dreams. Cryptic Command is already a fantastic card. Now imagine you get to cast it for 3 mana instead of 4, and loot with Baral's ability too. Lucky you, you don't have to imagine, your dreams are now reality. It isn't all counterspells in Baral land. Even the Chief of Compliance needs a few friends. Lol Mage Mentor is here to create an army of angry fishmen. If your opponents try to take out your merfolk, counter their spell, and make some more. Curious Homunculus is the best mono blue mana dork ever created. If you manage to flip him over, which let's be honest here, that won't be difficult, he basically turns into Baral Jr. with prowess. Yay. Although not as powerful as some other creatures might be, Archaeomancer and Thing in the Ice offer a lot of utility. Archaeomancer recurs your precious counterspells. Meanwhile, Thing in the Ice waits in the wings to bounce back your opponent's creatures and extinguish any hope they have left. Number 2. Arcum Dagsson. He might not look like much, but Arcum Dagsson is one of the most powerful commanders in the multiverse. He has the insane ability to turn an Ornithopter into a Paradox Engine, or a Memnite into a Mana Crypt. His ability is eerily similar to the banned and commander card, Tinker. No wonder he's loved and feared by so many. Grandpa Dagsson is a big fan of creatures like Trinket Mage. Trinket Mage specifically can tutor out important mana rocks or low-cost creatures like Ornithopter that Arcum can convert into game-changing artifacts. Tezzeret the Seeker specializes in untapping your mana rocks to help create excessive amounts of mana or find key combo pieces and put them directly on the battlefield. Here are 2 of the key artifacts that help keep the Dagsson train rolling. Both Voltaic Key and Paradox Engine function in a similar capacity. Their purpose is strictly to untap your mana rocks and generate infinite mana, or at least an amount of mana so absurdly high it would make a mathematician blush. With all that mana, we need something epic to do with it all. Why not put it all in a turbo machine turret like Walking Ballista and blast our opponents to Kingdom Come? Sounds good to me. In case of Walking Ballista malfunction, proceed to Plan B, aka Master Transmuter. She enables you to send junk artifacts back to your hand and replace them with fatties like Darksteel Colossus and his evil twin, Blightsteel Colossus. All aboard the Grandpa Dagsson Pain Train. Quick side note here, in the description below I've linked an Arcum Dagsson primer off of MTG Salvation written by the true nub. It goes into far greater detail on how to pilot Arcum than I could ever give. I highly recommend checking it out. Now, back to the action. Number 1. Teferi, Temporal Archmage. Well, here we are, number 1. I'd like to introduce you to the best mono blue commander currently in existence. Teferi is Lord of the Chainveil, King of the Artifacts, and first of his name. His +1 is practically a preordain, and his -1 is so absurd, mortal men tremble in fear at the mere thought of it being triggered. The Chainveil is a necessary part of any Teferi deck. Teferi's +1 allows you to untap the Chainveil and up to 3 other mana rocks, then use the Chainveil and Teferi's abilities again and again and again. With careful coordination, this combo can produce infinite mana of whatever color or type your mana rocks can produce. Artifact ramp matters in a big way in a Teferi build. Mana rocks like Grim Monolith, Gilded Lotus, and Thran Dynamo are all solid inclusions. The best mana rocks aren't cheap, so I've included some budget alternatives. Teferi's most terrifying attribute is his ability to play stacks effects like Static Orb or Stasis, and rarely, if ever, affect himself. Cards like Winter Orb and Curse Totem can also disrupt your opponents in a major way. Games will reach a point quickly where only the Teferi player is allowed to play Magic anymore. It's typical to see a highly tuned Teferi deck lock opponents out of a game by turn 3. Like an anaconda, Teferi wraps himself around his prey and suffocates them into submission. Quick shout out to the Lab Maniacs, specifically Dan and Siggy. In the description below, you'll find 2 deck lists. One was produced by Siggy and several other people, and it is a Chainveil Teferi primer that's all about the most absurd, expensive, over-the-top way to build Teferi. The other is written by Dan, and it is an evaluation on Teferi to build him at all different levels of budget, including a way to build a Teferi Chain Veil list at right around $200. So if you have a chance, check those out. Thank you guys so much for watching. I seriously appreciate each and every one of you. If you want to connect with us on social media, those links are in the description below. I want to hear from you. Who are your top 5 Mono Blue commanders? What would you like to see on this channel? Don't forget to hit that like button, share, and subscribe. We'll see you next time.